There's a ghost living inside your chest. She whispers when you're about to succeed. She holds your hand when you're about to fail. She's been there so long, you think she is you. This phantom has a name, the mother you carry within, not the woman who raised you, not the person who fed you breakfast or forgot to pick you up from school. Something far more dangerous. An internal tyrant wearing your mother's face, speaking with her voice, ruling your life with invisible threads. You spent years trying to escape her influence. Changed cities, changed partners, changed everything. But she followed you because she lives where you can't run from, inside your own mind. Today we're going hunting. We're going to find this ghost, face her, and finally set both of you free. The truth Carl Jung discovered will disturb you, but it might also save your life. Here's what they never tell you about healing. You're not fighting your actual mother. You're battling a psychological construct, an internal representation so powerful it shapes every relationship you'll ever have. This isn't some new age concept. Carl Jung called it the mother complex, and it's the reason you repeat patterns you swore you'd never repeat. Why you choose people who can't really love you. Why success feels like betrayal, and happiness feels like selfishness. Your mind created this internal mother from fragments. The look in her eyes when she was disappointed. The silence that followed your achievements. The way she loved you and hurt you simultaneously. Your psyche wove these moments into a living, breathing authority that now governs your adult life. She exists in your dating choices, in your career decisions, in the voice that tells you you're asking for too much, dreaming too big, wanting what you don't deserve. And here's the cruelest part. This internal mother is often harsher than your real mother ever was. Deep in your unconscious, you made a promise you don't remember making. I won't surpass you, Mom. I won't be happier than you were. I won't heal what you couldn't heal. This invisible loyalty runs your life like malware runs a computer. Silently, automatically, destructively. You self-sabotage not because you hate success, but because succeeding feels like abandoning her. You choose struggle because she struggled. You repeat her relationship patterns because diverging feels like betrayal. Your psyche believes that your freedom equals her abandonment, that your joy diminishes her pain, that healing yourself somehow dishonors her sacrifice. This is why traditional therapy often fails. You can understand your patterns intellectually, but until you break this unconscious oath, you'll keep returning to familiar dysfunction. The child in you would rather suffer alongside her than heal without her. Because to that child, connection through pain feels safer than the terrifying freedom of genuine independence. This loyalty is killing your potential, and it's not even helping her. The woman who raised you is not your enemy, but the internal version of her might be. Real healing begins when you separate these two figures, when you stop confusing the flesh and blood human who did her best with the psychological archetype that now controls your choices. Your actual mother was imperfect, wounded, doing what she could with what she had. She deserves compassion. But the mother living in your head, that critical voice, that impossible standard, that emotional prison guard, she needs to be confronted. This confrontation isn't about anger. It's about differentiation, about recognizing where she ends and you begin, about reclaiming the parts of yourself you sacrificed to keep her comfortable. Start here. Every time you feel that familiar guilt when something goes well for you, ask yourself, whose voice is that really? When you apologize for taking up space, whose rules are you following? When you choose someone who treats you poorly, whose love are you trying to earn? The answers will surprise you, and they'll set you free. Healing isn't pretty. It's not linear, and it definitely doesn't feel good at first. You'll grieve the mother you never had. You'll rage at the child you were forced to be. You'll feel guilty for growing beyond her limitations and angry at yourself for staying small for so long. This is normal. This is necessary. This is the price of psychological freedom. The work involves becoming your own nurturing parent, giving yourself the unconditional love you've been seeking everywhere else, setting boundaries not just with others, but with the internal voices that have governed you for decades. You'll need to reparent your inner child, not with spiritual bypassing or positive affirmations, but with genuine compassion and fierce protection. That wounded child has been waiting for someone to finally choose them unconditionally, That someone is you. Stop expecting the world to mother you. Stop punishing yourself for needing what you didn't receive. Start building the internal resources that no one can take away. Your healing doesn't betray her memory. It honors the life she gave you by actually living it. Freedom tastes like guilt at first. This is how you know it's working. When you finally break free from the mother complex, you'll feel like you're floating, untethered, sometimes terrified, because you've spent so long defining yourself in relation to her story, her pain, her limitations. Who are you when you're not carrying her wounds? What do you actually want when you're not seeking her approval? How do you love when you're not repeating her patterns? These questions will reshape your life. They'll end relationships that were built on dysfunction and begin ones built on genuine choice. They'll change your career, your goals, your entire relationship with yourself. You might lose people who were comfortable with your small version. You might disappoint those who needed you to stay wounded. This is a price of growth, and it's worth paying. But here's what happens next. You become the mother you always needed, not just to yourself, but to everyone whose life you touch. You break the generational chain of unconscious wounding. You create space for others to heal by healing yourself first. This is your true inheritance. Not her pain, but your power to transform it. Not her limitations, but your capacity to transcend them. Not her wounds, but your ability to alchemize them into wisdom. Your mother gave you life. Now you have to decide what to do with it. You can spend it imprisoned by her unhealed wounds, or you can transform those wounds into wisdom. The choice has always been yours. The only question is, how much longer will you wait to make it? Here's the paradox that will set you free. Loving your mother and healing from her are not opposites. They're the same thing. You honor her not by staying broken, but by becoming whole. You respect her sacrifice not by repeating it, but by ensuring it meant something. You show gratitude not by carrying her pain, but by transforming it into purpose. The daughter who heals becomes a mother who doesn't wound. The son who breaks free becomes a father who builds up. This is how generational trauma ends. Not with blame or anger, but with conscious choice. Your freedom is your gift to her. Your healing is your tribute to her love. Your wholeness is proof that her suffering wasn't in vain. Stop apologizing for outgrowing her story. Start celebrating what becomes possible when you do. But understand this, breaking free doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily vigilance against the old patterns. Every morning, you'll wake up with a choice. Will you live from the wounded child within, or from the wise adult you're becoming? Some days you'll choose wrong. You'll fall back into seeking approval from those who can't give it. You'll sacrifice your needs to avoid conflict. You'll hear her voice criticizing your choices, and for a moment, you'll believe it's your own. This is part of the process. Healing isn't perfection. It's progression. It's catching yourself faster each time. It's speaking to that internal critic with compassion instead of compliance. You'll know you're healing when relationships stop feeling like performances, when success stops feeling like theft, when joy stops requiring permission, when love stops demanding sacrifice of self. The mother within you is waiting to be born. She's been waiting your entire life. She knows how to nurture without smothering. She knows how to guide without controlling. She knows how to love without losing herself. This is your inheritance. This is your destiny. This is what becomes possible when you finally understand what Carl Jung discovered about the mother who lives within us all.